Hello and welcome to another Skype Goal Bridge. Get your Skype callings in a moment. What are we going to be talking about tonight while I get the live comments up for you? To be honest, football never ever seems to amaze me. I want to talk about Antoine Griezmann and a huge hint that he wants to come to Manchester United. But I also want to talk about this ridiculous, Fellaini out of the Arsenal game, Sanchez potentially out of it as well. Definitely want to talk about those things. But also really want to talk about this ridiculous thing that I've just seen on the United Stand timeline from Gordon Taylor, the PFA. Basically, for those people who are unfortunate enough to know the story about Gary Speed, fantastic footballer. I don't know whether he took his own life or that's what the inquest sort of came to, but tragically died young. He has been mentioned by Gordon Taylor, the chief executive of the PFA, the Players Football Association, in relation to Chris Smalling and Luke Shaw being publicly lambasted by Mourinho. I think it's disgusting. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's on an ESPN article basically saying that you shouldn't be doing it in public. These players, they might have issues and it might force them over the edge like Gary Speed. So that's basically what the story comes across to me as reading it. I'm disgusted. How low will they go to force our manager out? So definitely want to get your opinions on that. Obviously Griezmann as well. Let's get the live comments up and let's take the first call. There is sound. Stop saying there's no sound. There is sound because obviously everybody else can hear it. Right, let's go to the calls. Anything you want to ask, go for it. But lots to discuss tonight as per usual. And we will go straight to the calls. It's your call. It's Skype Goldbridge. There's a little tacker going along the bottom with all the details you will need for the show. And the line is open and Skype is open. And our first call will be Gavin O'Brien. Gavin, can you hear me? Gavin? He's gone. He was there for a moment. He's gone. Let's try somebody else. Jordan Brown. Jordan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Hello.
Hi, Jordan. Anything you want to discuss first before we... Well, no, let me just fly into this. You know what? It is for all you lot. I've only heard this in the last 20 minutes. Didn't know whether you heard about it at all. These comments from Gordon Taylor then, Chief Executive of the Players Football Association. Massively influential. He's come out and said that, Mourinho basically lambasting our manager again and saying it is, it's not right that he's done it publicly. What's your thoughts on that?
What's my thoughts on, as in like, what, Mourinho himself, or?
Well, basically, what do you think it's right that the Chief Executive of the Players Association is coming out and mentioning Gary Speed in his criticism of our manager?
I don't think that's right in my opinion. I think Mourinho deserves credit, if I'm honest. If anything, he does not deserve hate. From what he's done for us is more than David Moyes and Louis van Gaal have done, in my opinion. He's brought us attacking football, not defence. Play it back. More attacking. He's bringing in good players, and in my opinion, when January comes round, the team will be stronger because he'll dish out the players we don't want, and the players we need we will get in. He's that manager that can do that because he's got a big name. If we were to have David Moyes in charge and we were to go to Ibra at that time, Ibra would be like, "Who's the manager? Sorry, I don't know who that is." Now we've got Mourinho, we can get players in, we can build a stronger side, in my opinion.
And talking of which, Antoine Griezmann, I don't know whether you've heard the comments today or anybody's heard the comments today, but he's basically said that he really wants to play with Paul Pogba at club level, and he admitted, he's always asking him what life's like at Manchester United. I suspect Griezmann will want to move from Atletico Madrid at some point. What's your thoughts on Griezmann to United? Do you think we can do that deal, and would you welcome him here?
In my opinion, yeah, I'd definitely let him come. I'd definitely let him play striker for us because he's one of them players. He's a goal scorer, and what I think Ibra should be more like, he should be like a centre forward. We should give the ball to him. He holds it up because he's strong. He could. Then him and Griezmann would link up really well, in my opinion. He's tall, strength Ibra. He can hold them off. lay it off to Griezmann, and Griezmann's got that finish that we've been lacking, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only thing I'd have concerns about is whether he could adapt. But there's a lot of things I like about Griezmann, and he was the one player I wanted in the summer, but obviously it didn't happen. But we didn't do too bad. Thanks for calling in, Jordan. First call of the night. Where were you calling from?
Salford. I was on the other night actually as well.
Yeah, I've got a bad memory. I'm getting a bit old.
Yeah,
but,
I was on Monday.
Brilliant. On the show that didn't happen, unfortunately that was gone, but hopefully tonight it will stay after the live thing. So thanks for calling in again, Jordan. Good points. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers, pal. What I want tonight is, if you've not read what the PFA chief executive has said about our manager, then read it, get angry, come on the show, because he's got to defend. He's the chief executive of the Players Football Association, so he's always going to stick up for the players. I might be wrong on this, but I'm sure a few years ago when Suarez did what he did in relation to Evra, he was defending Suarez because that's his job to do that. But how low do you get? There is definitely an agenda against Mourinho. It's bloody obvious, but I think I'm old enough to remember what Gary Speed was like as a footballer. I certainly remember him dying, and I think bringing Gary Speed into an argument about Luke Shaw and Smalling being publicly, told to book their ideas up. How low do you get? And this is the depths that people will go to undermine our manager. But it's not my show; it's yours. So get on and tell us what you think. Ashwin, you're on the show. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mark, I can hear you.
Okay. What is it you wanted to say, Ashwin? Have you got anything to say about what I've been speaking about, or something totally different?
I want to talk about something different, and mostly about Pogba, because people have been criticizing him for no reason, and they're not understanding what his position is and how he needs to play. Because against Fenerbahce, when he came off, we saw that the team could not create enough chances like the team created against Burnley and Stoke.
Okay, so where do you think Pogba should be playing to get the best out of him? Do you think against Swansea that was his best position, the head of a front three, or do you prefer him in the middle as a number 8?
I prefer him in a more advanced position on the left midfield.
All right, okay, which we haven't actually seen him play there, but I know he used to play there for Juventus. So you'd play him where Rooney's playing, or played against Swansea?
Actually, not where Rooney's playing. Actually, a bit lower than where Rooney's playing, and just a bit more advanced position near a midfielder like Carrick, because he provides so much defensive stability to our team.
Yeah, so more a 4-3-3, a bit like Juventus really, whereas the left-sided attacking midfielder with maybe a Carrick or what used to be a Pirlo behind him.
Yes, more of that. And one more thing which I would like to talk about is under Van Gaal, we played with 2 holding midfielders, which used to make our defense look like it is really good. And now that we have only one midfielder to protect our back four, we have come to realize that our back four is not as good as we used to think it is. Chris Smalling is not the greatest of defenders at United. We have seen the side of him under Mourinho against Chelsea. He has a lot of mistakes in him.
Well, yeah, I'm sure everybody at home would believe that as well. Agree with that. Sorry, I'm a fan of Smalling. I remember that mistake he made in the derby 18 months ago when he got sent off, and some of the stuff that people said about him I thought was unfair. And he came back from that really well. But that Chelsea performance was undefendable. Literally, he couldn't defend himself. It was poor. But I think that's a really good point, Ashwin. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from India, Mark.
Brilliant. Our first international call of the night. Thanks for calling. Just as I'm always nosy like this. What time is it over there at the moment, Ashwin?
It is 3:15 a.m.
Wow, that's dedication. But the reason I asked that is because I know you all do it for football matches for United as well. So thanks for calling. I'm glad you got on, Ashwin, and hopefully you'll call in again.
Thank you, Mark.
Cheers. 3:15 a.m. in the morning. That is dedication. I always think that. I think, there should be no elitism when it comes to Manchester United fans. You're all United fans. You're all as good as each other. That's why we do these shows, to give you a voice. It doesn't matter if you go to every single game and you live 2 minutes from the ground. Who's getting up at 3:15 in the morning worldwide to watch games, and others. So really, really good point there. Come on, somebody. Come on and have a moan. Come on, have a moan. Have a moan about this PFA stuff. Ryan Burford, you're on. I think you've been on before, haven't you? I recognise the name.
Yeah, yesterday.
You're on yesterday. Okay, Ryan, we're getting a bit of lag, so if people can just not call when somebody's on air. You should know that by now. I'm not telling you off. I'm just saying you're not going to get answered, and I'm not going to pick up the call. So if you call in while somebody's on air, it's probably going to make me more inclined to ignore you afterwards because you're already there, and new calls will come in, and I'll pick those up. But Ryan, I'm moaning. What do you want to say? Hopefully, you're going to talk about some of the things I mentioned at the start of the show.
Yeah, first of all, yesterday I remember I said that we sacked Ferguson, but we didn't. He retired. Let's put that out there.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't even notice that, so there you go.
Yeah. And then I think Griezmann would be a unrealistic sign, really.
You do? Okay, why is that?
I just don't see him in a United shirt, really, I suppose. Like, I can't see him in a United shirt. So.
You just don't think it's a deal. You know what? I can sort of see where you're coming from because I was thinking about it today, and it's starting to turn into a deal. I don't know whether this is where you're going for, and I'll throw it back to you. A bit like Bale, where it go. You know, we're talking about it a lot, and it won't happen. But I personally have felt it's going to happen. But my concern is now, and I don't know whether this is where you're coming from. Like I say, is it's just too obvious. It's too big a hype that it won't happen.
Yeah, I think it's like an unrealistic one, really. I mean, the more you talk about it, the more it seems like it's not going to happen, I think.
He did say, though, he did come out today and say he wants to play with Pogba at club level, and he's very interested in what's going on at United. He's only just signed a new contract, so it's not like Ronaldo, who mentions us to get a new contract. I mean, do you not think that might be a little bit of flirting?
Yeah, but a lot of players said it, don't they? Like, because I think Zabaleta said he'll work a Messi at Man City, which is just talk at the end of the day, isn't it? So... Yeah. Just to cause a bit of speculation, I think.
Yeah, maybe I'm just trying to get people excited about it. I would like him to come. Having said that, I would be slightly nervous about it. Only on a FIFA 17 basis because he's a bit lightweight in my team. But I mean, he might not adapt to the Premier League. I think he would do. I think he's a very good player. But second, I will just ask you as well. Alexis Sanchez. Injury. Arsenal fans are in meltdown, by the way. But trying to get I was laughing my head off on the way home from work. They're on Twitter trying to get. How do we get tweets to Alexi to tell him not to play for Chile next week? And it's just so funny because he doesn't. Arsenal pays wages. Chile is that's his country. That's where he's from. And international football to other countries is actually quite important. He's not going to not play for Chile just because Arsenal fans don't want him to. But where do you stand on that? I mean, I suppose a lot of people would say I'd rather him not play against us the other week. But in other news, Fellaini might be injured as well. So, what would you rather? Sanchez fit for Arsenal or Fellaini fit? You can only have one.
Fellaini fit, because then it means Arsenal fans will be worried.
What, because of Fellaini?
No, because of the fact they can't score goals.
Yeah, fair point. Okay, Ryan, thanks very much for coming on. Good points about Griezmann. Not so sure whether we'll get him or not. Everybody else get on and give us your thoughts.
I would love it though. I would love it if he joined, but
Well, you know what? It'd be a nice surprise if he does for you. But thanks for calling in again, Ryan.
See ya.
Cheers, pal. Slightly concerned because I noticed lag again, and when I got lag the other day, that meant that the video didn't process. So let's hope that isn't a sign for things to come with this stream. Hopefully it will settle down a bit. I think it's... let's try Jack Field, see what he's got to say. Oh no, that's not. I've had Marco before, I've had Jamie Boyd on before. I'm trying to get people on who've not been on before. And remember, if you are a fan of another club, feel free to call in. Luke, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Where are you calling from, Luke?
Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. We get a lot of Irish on. What do you want to say?
Well, the fact is that Griezmann wants to move to United, which I think that is nowhere near going to happen.
Okay.
Because we've had the likes of Zlatan and we've also got Rashford. But if he does, my question is if he does join, do you think he'll be a one-striker up top, or do you think that he's going to be with two strikers up top? And if so, who do you think will be beside him?
I think that I've always seen Griezmann, and I don't know what other people think, but I've always seen Griezmann as a bit of a sort of number 10 or either side. I've not really seen him as an out-and-out striker, and I don't know whether that would suit him in the Premier League. I quite like the physicality of a Zlatan. But what about you? Where would you see him?
I have to say 2 strikers up top, Zlatan and Griezmann, because then we'll have a more powerful striking force, so then we'll get the goals in and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, what do you think about Mourinho and publicly, it's really coming down to 2 players now, Luke Shaw and Chris Smalling. In that same ESPN article, I will tweet this out in a bit. I mean, I'm not over egging the pudding with it, I suppose. That Gordon Taylor, PFA chief, he's not happy about it. Obviously, he's defending Luke Shaw and Smalling. I get that. I totally disagree why you need to mention Gary Speed. But Gary Neville also in the same article saying that he's worked with Chris Smalling for the last 4 years, and he finds it hard to believe that Chris Smalling would be anything other than dedicated to the cause. Do you think Jose is rightly getting some stick for doing this publicly, or do you think he's right to do it?
I'm not that sure, to be honest. I don't have a clue now.
Do you like the fact that he's come out publicly and told us that the players who are not putting the effort in are people like Luke Shaw and Mkhitaryan and
well, obviously not, no, because you don't want to give that out publicly. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna keep it private.
You're one of those who thinks it should be kept in house and not for public consumption. Yeah. To be honest, I think it's pretty much a 50-50, but I personally don't have much of a problem with it, but I think it's quite cheap, really, because I tweeted this out this morning that this time last year, Jurgen Klopp, the media's darling, was saying exactly the same thing about Sturridge. He's made of glass, and it's in his head. He needs to sort himself out and start putting the club forward. He was applauded for that. Of course, Mourinho, who the press hate, does exactly the same thing, and people jump all over it. I think it's double standards, but I suppose we expect that. Thanks for calling in, Luke. Good points.
No problem.
And hope to get you on again soon. Thanks very much.
Right, no problem. See you later.
Cheers, pal. Let's have a look at some of your comments on the live comments. Funnily enough, Mourinho Red Army, book up or get out of United, says Lee Hurst. Hang them out to dry, says George Kyle. Wayne Rooney FC, says Clan Michael. Neville is an idiot back in the Deadwood, says Louise O'Donoghue. Giggs hates Jose, says Jake FIFA Player FC. And Luke's Games says hello. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. At the end of the day, I don't really have a problem with any ex-player having an opinion. They're paid to do that, and controversy sells. Personally, I think they should be backing this manager. It's early days, but each to their own. Each to their own. I find I think it's just disgusting what Gordon Taylor's come out of. And I hope there is a bit of a backlash about that, especially from Gary Speed's family. I mean, why he should be brought into the fact that Mourinho just said that Luke Shaw dropped out on the morning of a game, I find it ridiculous. But there you go. Let's get another caller on. See who we got. What do we got? Isaac Chapman.
Hey, that's hello.
Hello. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Hello.
Yeah, can hear you, Isaac. Floor's yours.
Sweet. I just want to say about the comment thing. That is it's not on at all to say that about the players. If what Mourinho said is true about Shaw, saying that he just doesn't want to play because he feels a bit injured, I do not want players like that playing for our club. Because there are many people out there who would give their right arm just to put on the Man United shirt and step out and try their hardest. And if a player's like, oh no, I don't feel like playing, I'm a bit injured, a bit worried, that's not on at all.
You agree with him mentioning that publicly?
Yeah, definitely. If they're not gonna stand up and try their best for the club, then they can get out.
Oh, I mean, we spoke about it a little bit last night. I mean, what do you think the end game with this is? I mean, we've already heard that Luke Shaw's, training on his own, putting extra training sessions in. I mean, do you think there's going to be, Mourinho's obviously not done this purposely to, cause friction in the squad. He's obviously done it in the hope that these players will respond. Do you think they will respond to it? Do you think it is a tactic that's going to work?
I really hope it is, because I like Luke Shaw as a player. He plays well and he gets forward well. He's fast. He's quick. He needs to have the right attitude. Like, it's the same. Memphis has the potential to be one of the best wingers, but he hasn't got the attitude. Once the money side coming in, he just didn't care anymore. So
I think Memphis is probably finished, like you say.
Yeah.
On the subject of Luke Shaw, I'd be interested to get your opinion on this. Do you think it's to do with the injury, or do you think it's to do? I was mentioning it the other day that he got but it's the second time he's been publicly lambasted, really, because he got in quite a lot of trouble for his performance against Watford.
Yeah, I don't think he played that bad against Watford, but it may be a bit of a problem with the manager if he keeps feeling like he's having to go at just him personally. But the way to stop it is to put in the work and play hard and show him that you're actually worth it and you can do it on the pitch. Because then if you're playing well on the pitch, then can't say anything about you.
No,
So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from, Isaac?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. That's got to be the furthest away so far. What time is it there?
10 in the morning.
10 in the
We're
morning.
actually coming over to the UK to watch my first Man United game, the Tottenham game, this Christmas.
Oh, brilliant. Is it? I take it it's more than a weekend trip.
Yeah, we're going for like 4 weeks over all of Christmas.
Cool. Okay. I take it. What's the weather? I'm going to go off on a question here. What's the weather like in New Zealand at Christmas anyway? Do you get snow and stuff? Because you won't.
No, it's like summer. The months are opposite, so it's like gets up to like 25 degrees.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks for calling in, Isaac, from New Zealand. I think that's probably the furthest away we've had yet. Don't think we've had an Aussie on yet, so that's one up for you. But thanks for calling in, pal.
All right, thanks. See ya.
Cheers, pal. Thank you. Furthest away so far. Right, let's start taking some of your questions about this. Griezmann to United. Happy that Fellaini's out. Do you think it's wrong, these comments about Mourinho? It's still lingering on. Nearly a week later, we are still talking about Mourinho being quite honest and open with the fans and the press as to why certain players are not part of the team. Why should he take the stick? Why should he not be honest? Is what I would say, but there we go. Rory, can you hear me?
We are still talking.
Hello?
Hello, Rory, you're on. You sound like another Irishman. Northern or southern?
Southern.
Southern. Whereabouts, pal?
Mullingar.
Mullingar. Okay. Can't say I know it, even though I did live down there for 3 years. But
About an hour.
Pardon?
About an hour from Dublin.
All right. Okay. Obviously a United fan. I can see the crest there. What was it you wanted to talk about?
Just wanted to say that I feel that I was watching the Dundalk from Ireland. They're in the EuroLeague and they're actually doing quite well for an Irish club. And I was watching the United game as well, and it was like Dundalk versus Tel Aviv, and it was Manchester United versus Fener. I think it was the first game that they were playing. They lost 1-0, and the difference in the two games, like the Man United game, it was slow paced, sluggish. Ibrahimovic, I thought, was dropping. He drops about 50 yards away from the goals, which is all right, but like there's nobody up there to aim the ball for. There's nobody real, like he's a target man. He should be standing up there. United play was sluggish. It was going kind of sideways passes, kind of hold up the ball for someone else, not standing 50 yards away from goals. And just really, the one thing I saw was it was kind of the middle of the field. But the Dundalk game, it was like get the ball, go as quickly as you can. Kind of like the old United used to play. They used to get the ball, absolutely fire down the wings, and they always had pacey players. It was one pass, and the whole defence was broken open by the other team.
Yeah, I think the way we play is it's going to take a bit of time because it's been bad for the last few years. I mean, do you think there has been an improvement under Mourinho compared to Van Gaal and Moyes especially? Yeah,
there's I feel that like a player like Mkhitaryan, I was saying it that we should actually give him. I think he was playing against Wigan in the number 10 role, and he actually played quite decently there, linking up the play. Because I feel he's a bit maybe
slug. He's not as fast as maybe a United winger that we had, but his ball control is unbelievable. So I feel that if he maybe came into a midfield role, Carrick, and maybe Pogba as well, that could be a decent enough midfield.
Okay, and just very quickly, Griezmann, is he a player flirting with United? Is he a player you think could come to United, or do you think it's another Gareth Bale that's going to roll on and it will never happen?
Well, I hope, I think everybody hopes that we do get him, but I don't know. I only just saw the title. I only just came back and I saw the title. I was like, oh my god, is this actually true? Because I think he plays. He can play at the right wing position, which is where I think we don't. All we have is really right mids playing in right wing, and no real out and out right winger pacey lad who can deliver big balls into Ibrahimovic, which is probably his strongest point.
Yeah, I mean, just to let you know, and anybody else who's joining a little bit later, that Griezmann, he's come out and said, I want to play with Paul Pogba at club level, and he's openly admitted I'm always asking him about Manchester United. He can't go to Real Madrid. He's an Atletico Madrid player. I think he's got 3 options really. Well, there's probably a couple of options in the Premier League, but it's really going to be Barcelona, Manchester United, or Paris Saint-Germain. And why go to Paris Saint-Germain other than the French thing? But good points, Rory. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, bye. Thanks, Mark.
Nice to have you on another Irish lad. Loads of Irish lads. They're taking over, as George Kyle said on the comments. Let's have a look. People, Fellaini's injured. Get in, says Sullivan M. Both will end up at PSG, says RX. Smalling and Shaw need to man up, says Tony McDonald. And there's a good line here, Jordan Coffey. Everyone finish the sentence. Marouane Fellaini is. There you go. There's your starter for 10. And Moses says, what did Taylor say about speed? Basically, Gordon Taylor. Let me just get a call lined up, and I'll tell you about that, because there's a load of people calling, and it's good to get somebody on. Lost that. Try Edwin. Edwin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Just give me 1 minute, Edwin, while I just tell everybody this this Gordon Taylor thing. So Gordon Taylor's the PFA of the chief executive of the PFA, represents the players. He's come out with silly remarks in the past. He's come out with good remarks in the past, backing his players. That's what his job is there to do. What he's come out today and said is he's backing Smalling and Shaw, saying Mourinho should not be publicly undermining them. You never know what the situation is with a player. Look what happened with Gary Speed, effectively. Is he right to do that? Is it right to sort of indicate that Luke Shaw and Chris Smalling might be mentally unstable enough to go and take their own lives? Is it disrespectful to mention Gary Speed in relation to a manager who's basically just dropped a couple of people and said that there might be issues about their injury record? I don't know whether you'd heard that, Edwin. That's what you wanted to talk about or not. But the floor's yours. What did you want to say?
Well, regarding that question, I think that's the wrong approach to that, because you're using a tragedy and trying to say that players cannot perform to a certain level if they're being criticized, and this could be the end result of something like that. So I think to use a tragedy to bring across your point is wrong. And to me, I think he's more doing that because those two players are actually English and they play for the national team. And how would it look to see that your English players are being criticized for being, quote unquote, maybe lazy, or they're not putting in the effort at club level? And these are the players that you're going to be picking for the English national squad. And to be criticizing these players is not good for our national team. So I think that is also a point that why he's actually doing that. But to me, no, I don't think that is the right thing. A manager has the right to, if he wants to air it publicly, he has to have a really good reason to do so. These players are probably coming in every day and they're performing in practice, and when they're out on the field, he's just not seeing them displaying the attitude that they're supposed to. So I think he realizes that doing this privately will not change these players. So putting them in the public eye, let the public know what's actually going on so they can actually see these players. And when they perform, they can say, okay, I can see why Jose said what he said. These players really are underperforming. So I think Jose is right to do that, but the PFA guy, I don't think using a tragedy is the best way to actually explain the fragility of players. I can't see players just getting publicly ridiculed and would want to take their life, if that's the case what he's trying to say. I think they're old enough, they should be more mature to realize that the reason they're getting these criticisms is because they're not doing what they're supposed to and not putting in the effort. So for me, I don't think the guy is actually right. Regarding the Griezmann thing, that's a tough one. He's doing really good at Atletico. Would he want to come to Manchester?
Well,
maybe.
Yeah.
Let's
not got
say
Champions League, have we?
You know? But regarding your point, yes, I don't think the PFA guy is actually right to use that and actually involve someone who actually took their life, allegedly.
Good points, Edwin. Where are you calling from?
Well, wouldn't you believe I'm actually calling you from the Caribbean?
Caribbean. We've got some international calls tonight. What island are you on?
I'm from Antigua.
Okay, Antigua. Manchester United fan, obviously.
We're more Manchester United fans here in Antigua and the Caribbean than a lot of places.
Last night we had somebody who's, I think it was their mum, they said, went to school with Dwight York.
Yes. Actually, Emil Heskey has Antiguan ties.
And a great England player he was. We'll leave it there. Thanks for calling in. Please do call in again. Very good points from Edwin. Thanks for coming on, Edwin.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Okay.
No worries. Bye. This is brilliant. You know, this is why we do this show, is to get everybody involved. I'm going to click Sophia because she's been on before, but she was on the show on Monday night that got cut off. So hopefully it won't just be another live performance. We will actually get this stream working, although there was some lag at the start, so I'm a bit concerned. But we're live at the moment. People are watching. What did you want to say, Sophia? Phoning from America. I've forgotten where.
Yeah, New England, Rhode Island specifically. How are you, first of all? I haven't said hi yet.
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to make a comment on the whole Mourinho criticizing Shaw and Smalling. I'm not against it. I've played sports all my life, and I know, like, sometimes you just kind of need the kick in the butt to get going. You sometimes just need, like, that Kickstarter. And, I mean, they say don't say it publicly, but I don't doubt that Mourinho has probably approached them about it before. He's probably talked to them about it before. And if it's not working, then why not go publicly? And I don't think the media has any right to criticize Mourinho. And I think it's just, at this point, they're just trying to find ways to just try to turn the fans against Mourinho. I find it like I don't like the way that the media talk about Manchester United. It pisses me off because I'm not from Manchester, so I've kind of taken the outside approach of it, and I have friends at my school who I'm surrounded by Liverpool fans. I'm surrounded by Chelsea fans. Oh yeah, it's awful. And all they do is just go, oh, Mourinho this, oh, Mourinho that, and I'm like, no, it's just the media trying to attack us. You know what I mean? They're trying to turn you against Manchester United, and it's kind of annoying. People call me a bandwagon fan because they think I just joined the team because Pogba started playing for Manchester United, but I have to be like, no, I've watched Manchester United for a while now in Portuguese. I've watched it since Ronaldo's played for them. You know what I mean? But it's I feel like at this point the media is just trying to turn us against Mourinho, and it's just kind of sickening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stunned by the comments tonight from Gordon Taylor. I know he's got to defend the players, but it's just like you said, and it's like Alex O'Donnell saying there, it's incredible that Gordon Taylor feels like he needs to comment on Mourinho. I think it's incredible that he needs to bring Gary Speed into it. I think it's incredible that he needs to comment on something that's nearly a week old when England have got a big game on Friday. I think it's incredible that he is just singling out Mourinho when name me a player. Somebody said this before on Twitter, and it's a very good point. Name me a manager who hasn't publicly had a go at one of their players. It's as if this is something. This is as if it's something new, and it isn't new. I mean, I can think of the Klopp, because everyone loves him in the press at the moment. Did it a year ago with Sturridge, and all you could hear was applause. Oh yeah, it's about time somebody said that about these professional footballers. Mourinho does it, and because there's an agenda to undermine him from the press, ex-players, whatever, everyone's jumping all over it, undermining him. That's my opinion. I don't know whether you share that.
I agree. I mean, it's a strategy. When you play FIFA, one of the options when you get a press conference is to criticize a player, to try to get them to work harder for you. And it's been around for years. I personally have experienced it as just a high school sports player and someone who's played sports my whole life. A coach eventually sometimes will yell at you in front of people to hope that you get the message that maybe you should work harder. Or if you worked harder, you could be so much better than you are. And I think that this is what he's trying to do for these players. And I don't understand why the media has to pinpoint everything he does. And they're too critical about him just because they don't like him. And I think it's kind of, at this point, I've gotten fed up with it. It's awful.
Good points. Sophia, I'm going to ask you a few questions that are on the live comments. I mean, you've been on before, so people are obviously feeling a bit familiar. They're nothing personal. Well, they might be, actually. Louise O'Donoghue says, did you vote Trump?
Oh.
Or are you happy about... How do you feel about Trump, I suppose, is a very fair...
Well, the point... it's like choosing between... It's like choosing between the worst of two piles. I mean... From an outside standpoint, it's going to look horrible that we chosen Trump, but it's a change, I guess you could say. I'm trying to think positive about it. It's a change that we haven't, we've kind of been stuck with the same stuff and nothing's gotten done. So maybe with someone else who has a different view, we'll actually get stuff done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did tweet out this morning.
In no way do I support him.
I did. Well, I was about to say I did tweet out this morning. I did quite well actually. I did say that now the rest of the world knows what it's like, what it was like for us when we got Moyes. Yeah. But no, we've had the Brexit thing, so I understand where you're coming from that. And Jordan Coffey says, and you don't have to give it if you don't want to, but obviously a few people are liking what you're saying. Do you have a Twitter account?
I do not. I do not. I'm not a big fan of Twitter. It's just not my thing.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, thanks, Sophia. Thanks for telling us about giving the hot off the press thoughts on Trump, but more importantly, the stuff about Mourinho. I think that's very relevant. But thanks for calling in. I'm sure you'll call in again.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. No Twitter. Sorry, Jordan. You've been rejected. Trump should buy Man United. Says top teners. He is loaded. Let's see if we can get another call. No rival fans tonight. Please do drop a video, obviously this is your show. It massively is your show, and if you want us to carry on doing it, do drop a like. Mark, can you hear me?
I can, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I did see your live comment to say that you had something question about Shaw, so I was looking for you to pop up. Indeed. Again. Floor's yours, pal.
When I used to live in England, I used to do taekwondo very frequently. I've been to multiple competitions, won gold and whatnot. I moved to Belgium, and sometimes I'll come back and I'll go see my taekwondo class. Unfortunately, when I was warming up, the teacher wanted me to show something to the class. I ended up tearing my hamstring, and then I tore the tendons in my knee the way how I fell over. That was 1.5 years ago, and it's still not the same. I'm very conscious of how I walk and things like that with my knee. It's getting better, but it's slowly getting better. The question I want to ask everyone is everyone willing to give Luke Shaw a chance? Because he broke his leg. You can recover from it, but the mentality that you have to get over that wall again, and it's a very, very hard thing to do. I just want to ask, is everyone actually willing to back Shaw to let him get over that hurdle so he can get back to how he think he can be, which is a fantastic player?
Well, I'll wait for the live comments to start coming in, and I'll throw it back to you just with a very quick comment from me. I personally thought he was playing fantastically well up until the Watford game. And I'm of the school of thought that I don't think the injury is the problem. I think it's the two public bashings he's taken. He took one off Watford after Watford. I don't think we lost to Watford 3-1 because of Luke Shaw, but Jose certainly made it as if it was. I think we lost to Watford because Wayne Rooney played the worst game I've ever seen him play in any shirt, and Fellaini was anchoring the midfield. I'm sure Luke Shaw probably because the goals went down the left, but I thought, why Luke Shaw got publicly berated by Mourinho, I don't disagree with, but why he didn't do it about Rooney was unfair. And it seems to me that before that, I saw him going into tackles. I understand the injury thing, because I remember Valencia had the same, and he was took a while because he snapped his leg as well. So it is a fair point, but I mean, where do you stand on it? Do you think it is his injury, or do you think it is more to do with he's getting knocked by this manager who might not actually fancy him?
If you do well, you get praise. If you do badly, you should get shunned for it. If Luke's done bad, then shun him. If Rooney's done bad, you cannot hold your tongue about it. You have to say that he's done bad. Just like you have to treat everyone exactly the same. So that is my stance on it.
Okay. And just very quickly on Mourinho, because it sounds like we're both Mourinho. Well, I was certainly saying that he was wrong to do what he did against Shaw against Watford. I don't think he was. Yeah. I just think it was wrong not to out Rooney, who was awful against Watford. I don't think anyone can defend him. But in relation to there's a few people here actually saying, I'll ask you about this because I'd forgotten about it. There's a new BBC article gone up. It went up about 10 minutes ago. I read it whilst we were on the last call before that.
Yeah.
And basically, there's not a lot of substance to it, so you don't need to go and read it. But basically, it's just what I'd read today, where Mourinho has major concerns about the medical staff at Manchester United. Alarm bells ringing in my head. I'm sure Van Gaal did this about a year ago. Do you think it is a problem? There is a problem with the medical team at United?
Well, I'm not really sure, but to be honest, sometimes maybe they're getting trained a little bit too hard. They're not getting treated properly. But the amount of money that Manchester United have, we should have A++ medical staff regardless. There's no reason why the wages that these people are on, they should be, I don't want to say pampered, but they should be ready to fight every single game. There's no reason.
No, I'd agree with that, but it's a common theme, folks. This has been going on since Sir Alex Ferguson's time. Between September, October, we always, especially centre-backs, for the last 4 or 5 years, have been picking up these sort of injuries. And so it can't be managers. Having said that, and I will research this for tomorrow night's show, I'm sure Louis van Gaal, a year ago, got rid of somebody involved in the head of our medical team and brought his own person in. However, that has continued. Whether that's coincidence or not, I don't know. But thanks for calling in, Mark. I know you've called in a few times. Always good points. And the Luke Shaw one was fantastic. So I'm sure we'll speak to you again.
And one more thing I would like to say for everyone, to give him a thumbs up. Everyone loves this format that you're doing. Everyone loves Skyping and everyone loves to hear it. So I think it's really cool. You should keep on doing it. And I hope that you win the award.
Cheers. Thanks, Mark. Brilliant.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Important that is. Thanks, Mark, for saying that. I don't know whether people are liking these shows or not. I see the odd comment, people saying, "Oh, not another call in." So, if you do like it, like the video because it's the only way we're going to know. I'm happy to keep doing it, but it's hard to keep a gauge of the quality of the call, the quality of the show. Sorry, but Mark McGivern, can you hear me? No, he can't. That's a shame, but I'm sure somebody else will call in very quickly. Sanchez fit, Mark, pass test for Chile next match, says Chims LGU. Contrasting things. Hopefully he'll play against Uruguay and he will get injured. I think you can say that about rival players. I don't think you can say it about Fellaini. I think that's a little bit harsh. But I do want to talk about Fellaini a little bit. I mean, calf injury returned. 100% he will play against Arsenal. He did this before the Manchester derby. We all thought he was injured, and then he played. So yeah, I'm sure he will play. I've seen this person calling a few times. Let's see. It says Marcus, but you've got a funny name, Katorgo GHD. Oh no, he's bottled it. He's done a slippy G. He slipped over. Let's have a look at that one. I've not seen that name before. Amari, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Brilliant. You're on the United stand, Amari. What, United fan?
Yeah, definitely 100% all my life.
Brilliant. Okay, I'll ask you where you're calling from.
London, West London.
Okay, and far away. Show's yours.
Firstly, I want to say big well done to everything you're doing voted for you for the blogging awards, and I hope that you do get it because you're doing a fantastic job.
Cheers, that's appreciated. But it is all your shows as well. We can't do it without you. So, but thank you though.
On the Griezmann topic, I really do feel like it's a possibility that we can get him, especially with the managerial prowess of Jose Mourinho. I don't think in previous years Moyes and Van Gaal could have got players like Griezmann, and so I still think Mourinho has that X factor. But I also do believe that getting Griezmann may hinder on whether we get Champions League football. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I can't see us getting Griezmann if we haven't got Champions League football, and I think that's something we need to bear in mind. But I think the point that you made there is a very good one, and I'm going to pinch it for a tweet later on tonight. I'd sort of forgotten it myself, but I remembered it very clearly in the summer. And I think fans should, I'm not critical of Mourinho. I love him, and I think a lot of fans do agree with that and his approach. But let's not forget, we wouldn't have Zlatan, we wouldn't have Pogba, we would not have Mkhitaryan if we didn't have Jose Mourinho. And I think maybe, I don't know what you think, we've fallen into this trap of familiarity very, very quick and forgotten that there's only probably a handful of managers in the world who could do what Mourinho did. And he's probably the best in the world. We would not, Van Gaal stays, we don't get any of those players.
Exactly, 100%. And I'm backing Jose 100%. I've tried to tell. I've got a few friends who are a bit they don't know, but I do not have any reason not to. I've got no reason to doubt him because the butt of the performances has to lie with the players. You can't. He puts them out there. He's not the one that can put the ball in the net if we have 37 shots on target. So I feel like give him a few transfer windows and he'll get his team. It's nowhere near his team yet, and I really do believe by next summer he'll be ready. He would have drummed in what he needs to in the right players. He would have hopefully got rid of the deadwood, and we can start building. But for me, I don't put pressure on Jose because I believe in him so much, and I believe he will bring us back to the glory days.
And very quickly, where do you think we'll finish this season? Sort of ties in with all your points there, giving him a year, whether we'll get Griezmann is dependent on that. Where do you think, if I was putting you on the spot, where do you think we will finish this year?
That is a tough one. I do believe that we will start hitting a good vein of form coming. So I'm gonna be optimistic and say fourth, because I really do believe that it will be hard to dislodge teams like Arsenal, City and Chelsea. I've actually, beginning of the season, I did say Chelsea were probably going to win the league because of the lack of European football. I don't respect Tottenham's chances. I just think they're a bottle club. I also think the same for Arsenal, and I don't want Liverpool to win. So I do believe Chelsea will probably win it. City looks strong. I don't see them losing too many games. That's why I don't see them dropping out of the top four. But I do see if anyone will drop out of the top four, probably Tottenham, and we'll take that spot.
Brilliant call, Amari. Really good. Please do call in again. Really enjoyed some of them points you've made. Thanks for calling in, pal.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers, pal. Just wanted to say in relation to that, I'm going to take Mark McGivin's call next. So do keep calling, Mark. In fact, I'll try you now, and then I want to just quickly. Mark, can you hear me?
No.
Yeah. Hello? 1 minute. I'll come back to you in a minute. I just wanted to get you on the line. Just to everybody, the United Stand. Whatever you think about it, it's always grown off your input and word of mouth. We don't advertise. People always say you should have more subscribers, etc., etc. We'll only ever grow through word of mouth, and I think that's the best way to grow. So if you do like the content, talk about the United Stand. Tell your friends, whether they're rival fans or not. Everybody is welcome, and just keep doing it. The show grows because of you, and this show will continue whether you lot like it or not. No, that's not right. If you lot like it, it will continue. Mark. Somebody said you're a rival fan. Doesn't matter if you are. What was it you wanted to say?
How does it feel to be in 7th place? We're top of the league, top of the league, top of the league.
You're an Arsenal fan? Oh, God. I'll tell you what. They wasted a good arsehole when they put teeth in Mark's mouth, didn't they? But he's hung up. He's just saying he waited to get through, and he's hung up. Dove says, Mark, stop doing these Skype vids. I'm not interested in what people have got to say. you know, you've got to give both sides. You've got to give both sides. If people don't like it, then that is that. But we will, you know, it's the end of the day, it's an international break at the moment, and there's a lot of people who've been Skyping in trying to get involved, and that's why we've made a commitment this week to do it every night. I know some of you might think it's repetitive, but some people like me might be pretty bored of having no football. So obviously when the real football comes back, Skype Goldbridge will revert to 8:30 on a Monday night and straight after every game. That's where we really want to get your opinions. But this is a good week to keep getting as many people on as possible, getting as many different views. And I think tonight we've had some really good topics. So if during the day there's things you want us to talk about, get tweeting us and we will discuss it, because we won't be doing a show on Friday night. Obviously it's England-Scotland. I'm not an England fan, but I know a lot of you will want to watch it. I'll probably do a FIFA, something on the FIFA channel. Mini Messiah 42, you're just being a presenter, wasted. I've got lots to say. This Skype Goldbridge show will go back to Monday night as a weekly and straight after every game. We'll then go back to watch-alongs and match previews, match reactions. All that's going to come. Just treat this as a week in an international week to get on and help this new show find some legs, because we want to find people who will become regulars on the show as well. So that's why we're doing it. But I like it. I like doing it. I've heard better singing from Kev Ashford's intros in Van Cam. Yeah, I think the Liverpool fan last night was a bit more credible, but fair play to him. He spent all, you know, the only reason I answered it is because he kept ringing so much, and he took all that time just to tell us we're top of the league. We're not blind, we can see, but in case you've forgotten, it's the first week in November. Man United will finish sixth, says Roslinger. We do get a lot of rival fans on here now. What's your FIFA channel name? It's United Stand FIFA League, I think. In fact, go and watch the last one. I'm the free kick king, and I'm not even joking. But when are you doing FIFA 17 career mode again? Says Shaka Phillips. I will do it on Friday night. We'll be back on here tomorrow night at 8:30 with Skype Goldbridge for another one. And then, just very quickly, just in case there are people watching abroad or anything like that, on Saturday, we're going to do one at midday. Midday on Saturday, we're going to do a Skype Goldbridge, because we want to try and make it a decent time for the overseas fans. You know, the people who it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, it won't be 3 o'clock in the morning for them, will it? It will be like 8 o'clock at night or something like that. So we're going to do one at midday on Saturday at 12 o'clock. We're back tomorrow night 8:30, and then I'll do FIFA on Friday night. So there's loads going on. We're whizzing through this international break with you, but I just want to say what a show. I think we've done fantastically well again. Some brilliant calls. I think everybody, you know, let's be honest, the first show was a bit new. The second show was a bit new. People didn't know what it was all about. You've obviously watched it. You're hitting the ground running, making it very easy for us. So keep getting involved. Keep spreading the word. Keep liking the videos, and we'll keep doing it. But we're definitely going to be back tomorrow night at 8:30. I really enjoyed it. So speak to you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm off to watch Made in Chelsea. See you all very